Ahoy! Cruise with us to Nitinat and Beyond. See Lake Nitinat with its challenging entrance, plus Bamfield and Souk. Let's begin with Trial Island Light that shows the way to Victoria, and Ogden Point Breakwater Light that directs us to the inner harbor where we clear customs. Victoria is totally charming, and if you like boats,
and if I had a boat, I'd go out on the ocean, and if I had a pony, I'd ride him on my boat, and we could all together go out on the ocean, set me up on my pony, on my boat. Now if I were Roy Rogers, I'd sure enough be single. I couldn't bring myself to marry an old Dale. Will it just be me and Trevor? We'll go riding through them movies, then we'd buy a boat and on the sea we'd sail. If I had a boat, I'd go out on the ocean, and if I had a pony, I'd ride him on my boat, and we could all together go out on the ocean, set me up on my pony, on my boat.
hey, who is making all that noise? Pipe down!
When you're done taking there, I got something else for you to look at.
Hey there! Great suntan. Dang, really bulked up too. But why not find a warm sandy beach where they serve cold beer instead of a barnacle-covered rock? The coastline is intriguing. What is hidden in those rocks and caves? And the suspension bridge over Lost Creek is very impressive. Exploring Port San Juan and Port Renfrew will have to wait for another day. So much exploration potential, so little time. Adrenaline Creek Falls is a gem. Since the weather was so calm, we stopped to explore a little cove just west of Carmana Point Lighthouse. When the lightkeepers lowered the hook to us, we were so surprised we forgot to send them back a treat. Around Wyack Point is Nitinat Inlet and the notorious Nitinat Bar. These 1938 photos show surf pound over the bar toward the now deserted native village of Wyack. And there's the BC workboat L&H, swamped on the bar and later salvaged by the tug Snohomish. August 8, 2012, we crossed Nitinat Bar, showing a depth of 4 feet. We then passed through the gap at 6:20 p.m., about 1 hour after a high tide of 9.2. Immediately, we were overtaken by the local ferry service transporting a group of paddlers to the Crab Shack. Perhaps they had completed the Nitinat Triangle. At the Crab Shack, hikers on the West Coast Trail can purchase a ride across the Narrows, along with a meal of crab, baked potato, and beer. The Lummi Bay Packing Company opened a large enterprise in Canry Bay in 1917. Logs were towed down the Narrows in cigar-shaped Davis rafts. The cannery was abandoned in 1934. All that remains are some pilings and foundations near the Crab Shack. Google Earth helps identify shallow areas, even though the images may not be current, and you can hear Ray call out the depth as we cautiously navigate the Narrows. Can you guess what these baskets are for? Just beyond Canry Bay, the Narrows becomes very imposing. But there is no turning back. And then, around the bend, the first view of Lake Nitinat. But the shallows with the sandbars must be navigated first.
He believed in you.
We searched for the best route
when he
through the
said
shallows.
words
Crab
are always
bottomers
hard to
offer no help.
Now hear him through the empty city. He swept you off your feet. You're sweeping up the dust like baby. Drink your whiskey.
Once through the shallows, our tension subsides and we can enjoy the beauty around us. A small cabin to port and Brown's Cove to starboard. Once upon a time, Joe Babcock had a fish camp and ice house at this location. It seemed the perfect place to anchor for the night.
Take on me. Come on, old lovers, fall down in the grass, wake up with the breeze.
The stillness and calm were overwhelming. It seemed to be on a global scale, as if all conflict in the world had suddenly been set right.
You're sweeping up the dust now, baby. Drink your whiskey, mate. Hold the blankets tighter.
Turn on all the lights, mummify the lovers, burn them in the night. Gather our belongings, throw them from the train. Let go of the railings, let go of the reins. Take on me, take me on. Take me on, take on me.
It is a beautiful day for a tour of Lake Nitinat. Most boaters will never experience Lake Nitinat. The entrance is too daunting. Perhaps that explains why it is so uncrowded, undeveloped, simply marvelous. Let's take a boat ride.
Summer sun morning, a cold April sky. Wish for a fountain, lost in the wind.
Lady Falls is a local name, not found on charts or maps.
South-facing island that floods in the spring.
Kiteboarding is king on sunny afternoons with consistent 20-knot winds. Accommodations are rustic. Fishing boats over 60 feet long occasionally come into Lake Nitinat, but it takes more than skill. Canada's largest salmon hatchery is found at the end of Lake Nitinat. Our exploration found the old log dump in disrepair and new growth overwhelming old clear cuts. Knob Point is a bit remote, but it has a great picnic table. We found an unused float home and several cabins blending into the shoreline. The time has come to leave our beautiful tidal saltwater fjord and, like Greek mythology, challenge her four sirens, the shallows, the narrows, the gap, and the bar. On Thursday, August 9th, we crossed the bar at 11:19 a.m., 1/2 hour before a low tide of 4.7 feet. With the tide level below about 6.5 feet, the Narrows becomes a river flowing out to sea. The calm water we found at our high tide entrance now had a swift current pushing us toward the gap with limited steerage. Exciting, to say the least. How ironic, a shoreline that has seen such tragedy and tears is home to the stunningly beautiful Sussiat Falls. Bamfield is a bit remote, with a rich history and sharp contrasts, plus good fishing.
Sea lion woman, she love, she drink coffee, she love, she drink tea, she love, and rooster crow, she love. Sea lion woman, she love, she drink coffee, she love, she drink tea, she love, and rooster crow, she love. Sea lion woman, dressed in red, smile like the man when you wake up in his bed. Sea lion woman, dressed in black, wink at the man and stab him in his back. Sea lion woman, she love, she drink coffee, she love, she drink tea, she love, and rooster crow, she love. Sea lion woman, dressed in white, marry the man and spend a long sweet life. Sea lion woman, dressed in green, silver lining and golden seas. Sea lion woman, dressed in blue, call on the man and hope he knows what he can do. Sea lion woman, she love, she drink coffee, she love, she drink tea, she love, and rooster crow, she love. Sea lion woman, she love, she drink coffee, she love, she drink tea, she love, and rooster crow, she love. Sea lion woman.
places we've grown, all of us are done for. We live in a beautiful world. 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 All that I know, there's nothing new to learn from. 'Cause yeah, everybody here's got somebody to lean on.
On behalf of Captain Ray and myself, thank you for coming along.
And if I had a boat, I'd go out on the ocean. And if I had a pony, I'd ride him on my boat. And we could all together go out on the ocean, setting me up on my pony, on my boat. Now if I were Roy Rogers, I'd sure enough be single. I couldn't bring myself to marry an old dame. Will it just be me and Trevor? We'll go riding through them movies, then we'd buy a boat and on the sea we'd sail. And if I had a boat, I'd go out on the ocean. And if I had a pony, I'd ride him on my boat. And we could all together go out